see how this works. Okay, I could watch it right from here. Let's see how this is going. Okay, cool. So, don't show these tips again. Got my live stream there. Very, very nice. Just getting this set up here, you guys. Segundo. No, not that. Just give me 1 second, guys. There it is. Hi, Little Crafts Creations. Hi, Janice. Just getting myself set up over here. Making sure that everything is working well. Can you guys hear me okay? Hi, Crafty Girl. Just getting my stuff ready. Getting all my stamps and stuff in order. And this is the card. This is one of the cards I made today, utilizing one of the stamp sets. Very simple. And I used one of the eBay dies to kind of cut out this little notch here. So just been playing around with some stuff over here. I got some cards that I already pre-cut and shaped and stuff. And I already got my cutouts ready so that I can more or less kind of show you guys how to put the cards together. I got a few little die cuts and stuff that we're going to be painting and working with. Hi, Blessed Hands. And I even saved some of the silhouettes, you know, the remainders, so that I can kind of work off with those. What was that flash? Lightning? Uh-oh, it's raining over here, you guys. Excuse me. Oh, yes. So if you guys hear that rumbling in the background, it's raining. It's raining. Alright, so just getting some of my pieces together, and then we're going to start the show. What else do I need? So let's see here. I'm trying to get all my stamps out of here so that I can show you guys what I've used based on what I've bought. And I think this will be the ticket right here. Yep. Alright, so pretty much I've cut out some of the dies. And I'm only going to use 2 of the stamped images as far as adding a little image to one of the cards. The rest of it I'm going to stamp straight on and just kind of show you how I do that way. The one that I'm going to be using, let me see. I put them in here. It's this little cute one right here, which she's one of the sets of the 3. So I'm going to use her. I already colored her in. And pretty much what I used to color her in with just color markers. I have the Stedler brand. I have these. Hopefully you guys can see it there. But I have these where look at these words. I have these color pencils, and I used the ones that you find in the Dollar Tree, the real cheapy ones that everybody's using now. They're called the Liquid Mark Color Therapy markers. I wanted to see how they work, and they actually work very well when you color the images in first with the pencil. Because of the wax, it allows it to move around without damaging your paper. So I used that. So I got this little image that I colored, and one more if I can get her out of here. And I got one of these, which is the other little girl to the same stamp set. So we're going to be using these two, and then I just got a whole bunch of die cuts and stuff to kind of more or less show you guys how I go about making these cards. This is the stamp set that I used. Sorry for the glare, but my light bulb is like right there. But I used those. And then I got a whole bunch of dies that I cut out. I cut out some roses. And I also cut out some feathers. I'm going to try to make a feather card. I haven't done one of those yet. I got the little mushroom with the little fairy on top. The little bird's nest. The ballerina. And then I used these to kind of give the card a little bit of a different shape. And that's what we're going to be using for today. And I got my water, got my paint brushes, and we're going to be using some metallic paints and waxes. And we're also going to be using some alcohol markers to kind of bring everything together. So that's where we are. So let's get started, you guys, with the first one. And then I'm also going to be using the stamp. I'm just not sure how yet, but I left it out because I knew I was going to want to do something with that as well. And then this is the card that I used, where I used, where are those things again? Those little strips, those little border strips. Where are they? There they are. I use these little border strips, and I use these. And I got those for pretty cheap, $2.16 for 4 of them. That's not bad. And I just used it to cut off that bottom so that it has like a little lip to open up to. So I just thought that came out really cute, and I added I actually stamped paint directly using the stamp and paint, and I stamped some of those little star things on there. So that's the card that I made to test everything out. So far, so good. So I got a regular size, and I like making my cards pretty big. This one's a little bit on the smaller side. I usually don't do them this small. I usually just fold the entire 8.5 by 11 sheet in half, because it just gives me a broader area to use, and then I can kind of go crazy and create a whole scene. So I left one regular, and then on this one I used the border to kind of trim that out. I'm thinking about turning this other flap into a pocket, so that you can actually add some goodies in there, where your sentiment is, and add some, some nice things in there. And I did a few of those. So we're going to work on these for today. And then this regular size one. So let's get into the regular size. Wow, it is pouring out here, you guys. Oh my God. It is pouring. Wow. So how's everybody doing today? This is my words. Is it raining where you guys are? It's raining over here in New York, like cats and dogs right now. So my roses. Look how pretty those roses come out. I just love it. And I was able to cut them out 2 at a time. So I folded the paper in half and then just ran it through. So there's actually 2 of them in here, but I'll take them apart as I need to use them, so I don't go crazy. I'm just looking for the ones that I'm going to use for right now. This is not it. I should have labeled them. Maybe we can go, this is a nice long piece, maybe we can make something with the feathers on this. I never plan these things out. For those of you that watch me, you guys know I go on a whim. I don't know. I see everything fine. I hope you guys can hear me well. You can't see me? Ooh, lightning. I don't like lightning. I don't like it. You know what? Let's go with the. Let's go with the ballerina. I think that would be a nice way to start off the day. So I got all of these, and I just love this die. It is so pretty. It's got all these little flower bits. So I'm just going to separate these real quick and get myself some paper so that I can start inking these up, or painting them I should say. And we have some ballerinas. Oh my. And these are all doubled up. And it actually did emboss it a little bit. It's got like little embossed flowers on them. So I guess the dress form does come out if you do it properly. I'm thinking about something more or less like this. But let me use the one that got really nicely embossed. I'm going to use this one. And then I'm going to add some of these little swirlies. Some of these little flower lays kind of everywhere. And we'll figure it out as we go. So let's get the painting, you guys. So usually the first thing that I like to do after I got my card pretty much folded how I need it and stuff, I like using ink, like ink pads, to cover up my backgrounds. So I'm gonna go with this Ancient Page, which is a nice pretty pink. And I just pretty much use it straight up like that. Like I'll just go, just to give it kind of like a texture, and I'll just blot it on. Because it kind of gives it like a nice little concrete. Hi Maida. Hi Dana. It gives it like a nice textured look to it like that, which I kind of like. And let's see if I could get some blues in there. Kind of outreaching over here, you guys, to get these colors going. Where do I have my blues? I have my blue right here. And this is a little bit of distressed ink in broken china. Let me just get myself a little foam piece so that I can use this one by dabbing it on. And that's usually what I do. Like I'll just kind of just randomly add like all different ink colors to my background. Unless I'm doing like a mixed media card, then I'll just do a little bit of this and also do a little bit of, you know, adding some paper, shredded paper here and there. Hi Marriott, hi Barry. Girl, no matter how many times you tell me your name and I got it written down, I'm still gonna call you Barry because it just sounds cute. So I'm just gonna add, like I said, just little random colors here and there. Don't mind the sounds of falling stuff. I got all my ink stacked up. I'm trying to find the one that I need. Sometimes it's not the easiest. You can tell how much I use these inks, you guys. I kind of like have them all taped up. Just trying to add a different kind of pink here. Trying to see if some of these colors will marry and turn into something else, but they're all different kind of inks, so chances are that they won't marry too well anyway. Like that one's not marrying too well. So I just add it straight on. Looks a little odd at the beginning, but when it comes out, when it's finished, it looks really nice. Sometimes you just gotta play around. Hi Debbie, hi Linda, Miss Left-Handed Crafter. I know it's Liz. I have it written down. I have it written down. I know it sounds so silly, but I do. I have it written down. I'm just a little nuts sometimes when it comes to the first thing that comes to my mind is the first thing that I see. So since I see berry, I just think of berries. And when I think of you, I always think of berries. So I'm adding a little bit of this milled lavender just to bring that pink out a little bit. And since this is not a very dark color, so just adding a little bit of this here and there. I'm not too worried about the background because at the end of the day, what I want to stick out the most are the dyes when they're painted, because there's the color just pops out that much more. So let me see if I find something yellowish. I love adding yellow or orange colors to my cards. I found this. This should work. And I'm just gonna pretty much paint right onto the foam, and then just use that to kind of add a little bit of yellow here and there. Trying to get as much of that yellow out of that foam as possible. Sorry about the phone, but notifications are going off. Somebody's trying to notify me. Okay. Let's add some regular stamping here, just to give the card a little bit of and this is not an eBay stamp. I don't even know whose stamp this is, to be honest with you guys. Just gonna add a little bit of it here and there. I'm gonna use the same Tim Holtz, so I'm not gonna be adding any water to this, so it should be fine. I just want to add a little bit of words here and there, give this background a little bit of character. And I haven't found one of these yet on eBay, so I'm on the hunt. And I'm gonna add some different colors using the same stamp, just to make everything pop out a little bit more. And this one, sorry if I'm flipping the lids, is Forest Moss, and the one I used before was the milled lavender. So it doesn't have to be nothing crazy. Putting this back. So pretty much that's it, and then I'm gonna shade the border out. But again, what I want to stick out the most is gonna be, you know, the dye and the flowers and all of that stuff. So we're gonna paint those and get some of that action going. Just clear up some of the stuff here and put this card to the side, because we're not going to need it as yet. And I have all these little cute flowers to add to it. I have my little bit of water here on the side to clean off my brush, and I'm just going to start getting some paints out. And I'm also going to be using some glitter paints, so I'm just going to figure out which ones I'm going to use. Can you see and hear Carmen yet? Is anybody? Hi, Daddy Di. Can anybody hear me? Is anybody having problems listening to me, or is it just Crafty Girl Purple 62? So I'm gonna get some of these glitter paints. I'm gonna pretty much get them all out because I have no idea what I'm doing. That's the fun thing about crafting, you guys. You can pretty much make magic as it goes. Make it work, you know, as it happens. And I'm also gonna go ahead and get some of my metallic paints out. I like this patina one. Definitely some silver, because who doesn't love silver? And some of this mink pearl. And a little bit of this teal. So I got a smorgasbord over here, you guys. So let's get the crafting. I'm going to use this orange paper so that hopefully you guys can see what I do as I do it. And and hopefully we'll all have a little bit of fun. Fun without the sun. Okay. And let me get my brushes right over here. And to do this kind of stuff, I try to use the smallest brushes that I have. So I got this one as a liner brush. And then I just got some really small ones. This is a number 0. I got 2 number 0s. And then this is just like a 1/4 inch, I think. It's a 1/4 inch flat as a number 4. So just using those kinds of things. Let me just get some paint out. And I need my crazy little lid for that, so I can add some paints. And the first things I'm going to start doing is painting on her dress. So for this I'm going to use Decoart Metallics in Teal to start adding some color to her dress. And I don't need very much because it spreads out very well. And I'm going to use my 1/4 inch brush to kind of wet that out. I want it to be almost like a watercolor consistency. I mean, you can use it darker if you want, or you could leave the paint as is if you want. But it allows me to kind of fix around areas that I'm not too happy with. And at the same time, it allows me to blend a little bit better because of the water. So I'm kind of going a little whimsical with this one by painting her tutu in a teal color. But we'll see what happens, you guys. Can you guys see well? Let's see now. Definitely want to get some silver in there. So I'm just going to pour a little bit of this shimmering silver. And again, this is in the Dazzling Metallics. And I just want a few drops. Nothing too major, because it's an itty bitty little dye. And I hope you guys can see. Let me know if you guys can see well, or if I need to zoom this in a little bit. I don't even know if I can zoom it in with this app, but I'll try. I'll bring it up to you guys. So pretty much just kind of painting it in. Hello, Annette. Just kind of painting her in, and going back in, picking up a little bit of a darker shade now. And pretty much just free form, you know, going at it in a free form, nothing too specific as far as shape. You can pretty much, you know, depending on the dye that you're using, just kind of add a little bit of different colors and layers as you go. Okay. I'm gonna just add a little bit of this teal right there and blend it in a little bit out with some of this teal to just kind of bring it all together. And I need something light. I'm also going to be adding a little bit of this ice crystal Glamour Dust Paint. And I'm going to be adding that to the tutu area and to her dress. It dries clear, so any color that you paint under it, it will still show through because of the way that the paint itself is. It's very clear. I'm just cleaning up my brush a little bit here on the side so that I can go into it with this paint. So you'll see that it's white so that you can kind of see where it's going, but at the end of the day, when it does dry, it'll give you the little ice, you know, the little crystals, and you'll still have all of your color there. So I love this this paint because of that. Awesome, I'm so glad. Yeah, sometimes you just gotta refresh your page or restart your computer. I had that problem the other day, and for some reason a lot of people are complaining on YouTube about not being able to get the chat or the volume not being all the way there like it should. So I had to restart my computer like 3 times to be able to hear one of the people that I was watching. It was so annoying, but I got through it. And I think for the most part, I think I'm going to leave her black as is. I am going to give her shoes, but I do want her to be the silhouette. I just want the dress to kind of pop out because the dress is going to match how I'm going to do the flowers. So that's going to bring it all together. I still want her to still have that silhouette about her. I'm just cleaning up a little bit of the areas where I don't want paint, and I can do that easily with a little bit of water while it's still wet. I'm going to give her some shoes, and I might as well go into it with the same teal paint as I already have it out. And I like using black cardstock for my die cuts because it leaves that natural dark edge so I don't have to edge them up, which kind of makes my life a little easier. Okay, you guys, then I'm going to do her hair. For that, I'm going to switch brushes because it's a smaller area. And I'm going to go in with a 0. And again, same teal, because it's about bringing the whole piece together. And she's got the smallest little cut flower in her hair. So let me get some white paper so hopefully you guys can see her well. And I got a little bit of water. I need a little bit of water here to kind of clean that little bit of paint that got on her off. So I don't need that paint there. So more or less, I'm hoping that you guys can see her well for how she is. But you see that whole metallic, and you could almost see the shimmeriness of that glitter paint. It's already all there. And then once this is all done, then what I'll do is that with a marker, I'll go in and add some details. Wherever I want any additional details, or wherever I want like any additional lines. Like in her tutu area, I'll probably want some additional lines to represent the ripples in the tutu. She's got a flower here that I gotta paint. And pretty much that's how I kind of go about it. With the other ones, that like the flower ones that are hollow, I go about it a little bit different. Because with those, I really do incorporate a little bit of marker, coloring pencils, paint. I incorporate a little bit of everything in those. But this, I'll outline this, and I'll outline the tutu area, and just make everything nice and crisp before I apply her to the card itself. I'm just defining a little bit better this heart-shaped area here. And that's it for her. Off to the side she goes while she dries, and they dry up very quickly, so that won't be a problem. Yes, that paint is awesome. I tell you guys, it's so versatile. It's so versatile. And usually I'll use the paint, or I'll use the waxes that you guys have seen me use before. I'll probably pull these out for some of the other processes that I'm going to do, but I love these. Anything metallic, the paint's metallic, I love. Which you guys probably figured out by now. I probably just, I don't know. I love things to shine. I was probably a cat in my past life or something. Alright, so like I was saying before, when I cut these out in the machine, I use black cardstock, and I doubled the paper in half so it could fit. I use a cuddle bug. And I was actually, with these dies, I was actually able to cut through it nicely. But the one addition that I have done, that I did before but I started doing again, is that I buy the foam packs at the Dollar Tree, those foam sheets, and I'll put like 2 foam sheets under, like right on the plate, right on the C plate, because I use A, C, and then B on top. So I'll put it right on the plate that's going to be in the bottom. I'll rest my die, then my paper, then my top plate, and I'll run it through. And usually that helps it to emboss, and it cuts out through both layers, no problem. So it actually comes out pretty good. So let's go. Let's get into this. Gonna add a little bit more of this water here. Still using the smaller brush to just kind of wet up all of these little flowers here. And I hope that you guys can see me well. I changed light bulbs hopefully to get some better lighting. I just have such a small craft area that it's hard for me to fit anything else. And some of these paints I will be including in my giveaway, in my Love is Love 1K giveaway. So whoever wins the die pack will have some metallic paints and waxes included in the pack, so that you guys can also go about doing your own, you know, little metallic creations. Yes, I've been using those for a while because unfortunately, I'm one of those people that read instructions last as opposed to reading instructions first, for the most part. And I was running my dyes wrong for the longest time, and I'm wondering, why am I having such a hard time cutting? And it would literally, for me to cut out one thing, it would take me an hour when I first started. And it's just been a situation of trial and error, working with them. And I started buying the little foams because I wanted to cut out little foam shapes. And in one of those, in one of those times where I was cutting the dies wrong, it didn't cut the die, but what it did is that I noticed how deep of an impression, like the die went, like it left like an embossed area. So I ran it with paper on top, and it cut out beautifully, and I was like, aha, figured you out. So I've been doing that more or less ever since. It's just I ran out. I ran out of them because they do get flat rather quickly. You get a few passes depending on how thick your pad is. And I know that the embossing pads that come with like the Cuttlebug, they're too thick. It's too thick to run it through. So you definitely could use like the cheaper ones that are thin enough but still have that thickness to them that you can use in the machine, and your plates will still pass through without messing it up, without messing up your machine. I'm one of those people, once something starts like breaking my head, if you will, like I start, you know, stressing over it, like I literally get obsessed, and I start like 101 ways to like fix something, and I just start, you know, trying all different kinds of things. So I was kind of lucky that that kind of happened accidentally and I didn't have to go too nuts. Yes, you should try it. Especially when your plates are warped, like mine. Oh my god. That is like the best thing. That's like a quick fix right there until you could get yourself some plates. Get yourself some foam packs. Sometimes you can find them really, really cheap. And just add some foam pads into it. And you're good to go. Literally, it'll cut like it's brand new. So we're almost done with this one here, because I don't know how many I can fit in there. And I'm thinking about leaving those black areas black, you guys, because it'll at least stick out. And then if you have like little gems and stuff like that, then you can add like little gems to the front of it. You know, to the little individual flowers if you want. If you want to add some bling, you can do that. Usually what I'll do is I'll add a dab of glue and add a little bit of the finest glitter, and just make it kind of shine just a little bit in the center, not too much to overwhelm it. So while these dry, I'll finish working on her, because our card is pretty much made. Once this is painted, you're done. You're pretty much done. So I'm just gonna get me some different tips. Hello, Laura. Thanks for joining, love. This was a nice fine one. And if you have like a white gel pen, then you can add accents that way. So pretty much I just want to kind of add some subtle little pleats in here. And it's already got a nice texture to it because of the glitter paint, so you'll feel that. And then what I'll do is I'll grab the same color that I used in paint and just kind of blend that in a little bit more. So I'm just kind of blending out some of those black lines that I just added, just to kind of give it a little bit more. And this is what I love about this. I get to mix, I get to use paint, I get to use markers, I get to use pretty much all the different mediums together. So in essence, to me, it's like a mixed media, even though I know it's really not. But it works like a mixed media for me. So it makes me feel like I'm still in my little space, my little nook. And then at the same time I can do that. So let's see here. We're pretty much good to go. And what I'm gonna do next, as I mentioned to you guys previously, I'm gonna add some dots of glue. But before I do that, I'm gonna start positioning my pieces. I'll do that once it's already on here. And I want to see where I'm going to put her, because I am going to want to add a little bit of light shading there. So I'm going to try to find the lightest gray marker that I have. And for those of you that don't know, I use these really cheap ones from eBay. These are alcohol markers. They're like Copic knockoffs, but they do the job for me. So if you're like one of those super, you know, talented illustrators, colorists, these might not be the best for you. But they're not too bad. They're not too bad. So I'm just kind of giving myself a little area here where I'm gonna put her, and then I'm just gonna color that in. I'm making 1, 2, 3. With this one is gonna be 4, and then these that I used to dye and kind of cut out a little lip under, I'm thinking about turning them into like little pocket cards where you can put things in and at the same time have your nice illustration in the front. This is something new that I've tried. I just got those border dies, so I've never done a card with actual borders, if you will. So I wanted to try it out and see what happens. Try something different. So I got a few different cutouts and stuff that I got here. This is like the lightest, and it's still, you can still see all of the wording in the background. And I don't want to super saturate it, so I'm just trying to lightly pass through it. These markers do bleed through the back, so I'll be covering that up, but just be aware. But I think most alcohol markers some way somehow bleed. So I'm just going to add some glue. If you have double-sided tape, feel free to do that. I just feel like glue is way more secure. And I want to make sure she doesn't fall off in transit to wherever her new home is going to be. And so and again, this is Dollar Tree glue, you guys. I don't use nothing else but Dollar Tree glue. It's embellishment glue, and it's the best thing that has been made in my eyes when it comes to glue. And anybody that has used it so far loves it. So if you see that embellishment glue, you guys buy it. You will not be disappointed. I can guarantee you that. So I'm thinking something like this, right? Something along the edges. And I have some of the little flowers to throw around here and there. I'm only going to add a dab to each flower. I'm not concerned with the ribbon aspect of it. I just want to make sure that I get each flower down. Because at the same time, it also gives a little bit of dimension. And with a piece of paper, that way I don't damage it or lift it up in the process. We are good to go. And here we are for the next one. I went crazy and bought about $27 on eBay. I already received the first 3. I love them. They're cut beautifully. Yes, they do. Hey, New York. It is addicting. And this is why I felt the need to go on there and pretty much make my giveaway all about eBay dies and stamps and embossing folders, because I know that who's not gonna love that? Who's not gonna love that? Come on now. If you don't have a machine, then the stamps will suit you well. And even with the embossing folders, you get yourself a nice rolling pin and a flat table, and you can emboss. Just roll the rolling pin right over that. You're good to go. You are good to go. So far, so good, right, guys? They come out really cute, you know, once you add all the different stuff to it. Let me go ahead and paint some of these little different flowers here, because I did forget to do that. Let me see here real quick. Another thing that I like to do is I like to save. I don't do this for all of them because it really does depend on the quality of what I get. But I do like to save where I cut it out from, because it helps me to add, you know, different shading and different effects here and there. So instead of painting those right now, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to use my little cutout thing here and just kind of stencil some of them in. So I'm going to stencil a little bit of that in, and I'm going to use a sponge for that. Where is my scissor? Thank you. I love this. I love this. And let me tell you, I was never much of a card maker. I still don't consider myself a card maker. I'm doing this today because a lot of you guys have asked me to show you how I do them. Otherwise, you probably would have never seen this, because I didn't think anybody really wanted to see it like that, you know. But I'm glad you guys did, because now I get to show you what I do. I'm going to use the same teal. I'm thinking teal. Yeah, I'm going to use the same teal just to keep it all. I already have some of the paint that I have left over from what I did, so I'm just going to stencil it down, holding the paper in. And just with a makeup applicator, you guys. No need to buy expensive daubers. Makeup applicator. Then I'm going to put some like right over here. Somewhere like right there. That'll work. The one thing I wish that they would get more of is like words, you know, like actual words. They have that one set of 4 which I got, you know, the hello with love. I have that, but I want more. I need to speak to the vice president. I want more. So what do you guys think? When are you, my lovely, going to grant my wish for die cut samples? LOL. I didn't even know that was your wish. I wish I would have known. You might have had them already, but now I know. Hit me up on my email. I have no problem helping out somebody. Trust me. I've received help more than once, more than twice. So, it's nothing to me, girl. It is nothing. I could definitely help you out with that. So let's go ahead and add some little glue dots and add some glitter to this, and I think that this card is done. The only last thing that you will want to do is add your sentiment. I'm obviously going to cover this, so probably what I would do, which I'm not going to do now because I'm just going to go to the next card, but I would just probably cut a little inlay, maybe of some, you know, nice design paper, or I would make something in the similar style as what I did in the front, and then I would just cut it, you know, leave a nice little border and just stick it on both sides, and then add my sentiment, you know, to the one side. But more or less, your card is done. It's done. But since I'm never really officially done, because I always see something and I'm like, I could do this better, I'm gonna do this better, and I'm gonna add a little bit of this metallic paint. Since I already added this shadowed area here, I'm just gonna water this down a lot and make it really, really loose, and just kind of go into this shadowed area with some of this metallic paint, because why not? I might as well. And then just drag that out. Because it wasn't a full oval. And it was kind of driving me a little nuts. I'm not gonna lie. So now she got the full ensemble. And there we go. And I gotta tell myself to stop because I can get, you know, too far out. Do you have Eiffel Tower dye? No, I don't. I should get one of those though. I know somebody that loves the Eiffel Tower. Anything to do with Paris, she is in love with. And I know she would definitely appreciate some goodies with some of that, you know, emblems on it. So I have here, again, Decoart. This is Glamour Dust. This is fine glitter, which I love this thing too. I don't know, you guys, but so far I'm one satisfied person when it comes to their products. I mean, especially their metallics. I just love it, love it, love it. I can't help myself. So I'm just gonna add a little dab of glue, and that's not the center. In the center of each flower, and just sprinkle on some glue. I mean, sprinkle on some sprinkle. Make wish here, ladies. Some fun things. I don't have income coming. I don't like saying, but I'm here with my friends. I'm gonna turn this paper over just in case there's any paint on it, so I don't get any paint on it. And then I just sprinkle it on. And then at the same time, this gives it a little embellishment and makes those flowers pop. And I'm probably going to add a little bit of fine lines to the dress, to the tutu area. And I think we're good to go. And can you guys see that diamond? Those diamonds are shining. I forgot one flower. Actually, I forgot two. One there and one there. So let me just grab a little bit of this, sprinkle it right on top. Very simple, you guys. Very, very simple. I hope you guys can see all that shininess. But super cute. I mean, this would be perfect for like a daughter, a sister, a niece, somebody's Swiss 16, an invitation even. You can make beautiful invitations with something like this. And the little bit of metallic paint gives it that pop. Makes it look a little bit more fancier, if you will. So I just love that about it. But yeah, this is card number 1. Now we're going to move on to card number 2. So far, so good. I'm just going to put this back. And I've had this bottle for literally like 8-9 months, and I use it on everything, and I still have three quarters of the bottle, because it's that fine, and it literally spreads out that well, and you get most of it back when you do the rest of it. So when when you shake it all off. So for this one, let's see what we have as far as die cuts, and then we'll figure it out, because you guys know me, I'm a work in progress. Even on my days off. So I'm just gonna put these stuff away, 'cause I don't want to lose these, and who knows, somebody might get some of these little die cuts that I have at the end of the show. Let's see what we have left. So I'm just gonna put this in here, and I still have some ballerinas left, because I only used one, and I did cut out like 3 or 4 of them, so I have some ballerinas left too. And I got the little black flowers there, but I'm gonna leave those there because I might use those on something else. So let's see here, what do we have? How about one of these cute little girls? Let's see what we can do with you. What do I have here? These are my feathers. Maybe we could add one of these. Oop. Make it so that it's kind of hiding, so she doesn't know that it's there. And then when you open the card, then you have a little fairy in the back. But actually that might look good with more fairies, but we'll leave it like that for now. So let's see here. Just trying to see what I cut out so that I know what I'm using. What do we have here? Roses. We're definitely going to get into these roses before the night's out, you guys. Thank you. So let's see. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with this one. And I'm thinking she would definitely go good with this stamp set, which was $1.39 for this whole sheet, which is not bad at all. So I'm just going to try to see like where I can position the different things, and then figure out exactly how I want to do this. Because this tree is a little small for my liking. She's a little big. She's the size of the tree, so this might not work out too well with the tree, unless I put the tree somewhere back there. No. Okay, this might not work out too well with the tree. The tree is too small. So let's see what I do. I have hurt in her, so let's see. Or maybe, should I use the stamp set that I used on this one to incorporate into this little fairy background? Or should I just go kind of generic, if you will, and add some of these little bird trees? Because I could definitely use this in something nice. Add some bird trees to that. Paint the whole background like the sky. Add some bird trees to that. On the inside I can put her. I can put the little die on the inside. And I could add some eyelash trim to turn, you know, to kind of make those like little fuzzies and stand out. What do you guys think? Thank you. So yeah, I think that's probably the best bet. So for this, I'm going to go this a little different as far as how I'm going to paint it up. So I'm going to add this and this. And I'm thinking these are going to be the dyes that I'm going to use just for something, you know, kind of generic, if you will. Nothing too fancy. And I need some blue. I need some blue. So let me get some blue paints. I'm gonna use a little bit of that blue metallic. I'm gonna run out of space here soon, you guys. Blue metallic, and I definitely need some of this white because I'm gonna make some sky. So how I make the sky with the metallic paints is I pretty much, they don't have a baby blue. At least I didn't get one in my sample pack, so I don't have a baby blue. So I'll just add this is ice blue, so I'll get some of this ice blue, and then I'll just add some of this white pearl, and I'll mix those two together, and I'll make sure to add just a little bit more than I need. And then I kind of just leave it kind of marbleized a little bit like that. I don't really blend it in too much. And again with the sponge, this already has some blue on it. And it's got some silver because it's picking up some silver from in there. And I'll just dab it on. Nothing too crazy. I'm gonna need more white. So I'm gonna spray some of this white Media Mister paint. Ugh, making a mess over here. Okay, this is not working. I gotta fix my sprayer. My sprayer is not spraying. I'll get some regular white paint. This is just regular white acrylic. And I'm just gonna dab one corner of one corner of the other, and just kind of do it that way. And once this dries, you can apply different color paints to it if you want. You know, it's pretty much up to you how you want to do it. I'm getting close to my edges here, so let me just add a piece of paper so that I don't overwhelm myself. Carmen, where do you get your paints? You have to go to decoart.com, and under top menu, you're going to see where it says products, or it's going to say something about buying or purchase. I think it's going to say purchase. And then you can just use that and pretty much purchase them, you know, straight through there. You're gonna get the whole catalog. I gotta talk to them to see if they'll give me like a discount code so that I can give it to you guys. I don't know if that's something that they would do, but it might be good to ask. And if they do that, then just stay tuned, because I'll make a video and just say, you know, coupon code or something, so that you guys can go and kind of get your paints. And definitely they have sampler packs, so you can get, for a fraction of the price, you could get a whole sampler pack, and it'll bring like 12 bottles of all the different colors. And the price is not bad at all, you guys. Alright, so my sky is pretty much done. What do you guys think? Hello, Miss Stationery. I'm trying to catch up to all you guys. Just go ahead and go do your creative thing. I'm just here cutting away with all the fun foam. Perfect cuts on the intricate dies. Thank you. Oh, you tried it? Awesome. See, that's what I like. And that's what I like about this community. You know, everybody's willing and able to help out other people, and they have no problem doing it. So So I'm so happy that that worked out for you. It's a money saver, I tell you. Money saver. So now, for this bottom one here, I gotta do something a little different. So I'm gonna use this emerald green. But before I apply this emerald green Glamour Dust paint, you guys gotta look at the difference. There's Glamour Dust fine powder, and that's the powder that I use. And then you have Glamour Dust paint, and then you have Dazzling Metallics, which is the shiny ones. So that way you guys kind of know. In case you do, go ahead and order some. What am I looking for? I'm looking for a green. So I'm gonna get some green metallic paint. Because I'm gonna do the bottom like in a greeny kind of color, but not too green. I'm gonna actually mix it up a little bit. I'm gonna add a little bit of copper to that. And I love mixing colors that normally don't go together, because you never know what you're gonna get. Sometimes you end up with mud, granted. I've done that plenty of times, but sometimes you get lucky. If you are color spectrum savvy, then you probably won't have this problem. Me, I'm a wing it kind of person, so that's exactly what I'm gonna do, wing it. So I'm pretty much picking up some of this copper and crystal green, and I'm just gonna go ahead and just add, just kind of dab it on, and it's very two-tone. I'm just a little bit of everything on each side. Just to make the card a little different. That's what I love about do-it-yourselves. Everything you make is always unique, and nobody can do it like you could do it. So it doesn't matter. It always comes out beautiful because you made it. So, still need a little bit more paint. Still a little bit more paint. You guys know I love my greens. And I don't mean the vegetables. Those I don't like. Only broccoli. And I'll eat an occasional green pepper. And I mean that seriously. Occasionally. From New York too, girl. So I know. Born and raised. I added a little bit of this mink. It's called Mink Pearl. Just to kind of, I don't know, neutralize it a little bit. So I'm kind of using that to kind of like blend. And I'm just waving it all over the place. And I think I got my bases covered. Okay, so we have the hillside and we have the sky, and what you're gonna see up close is gonna be the birds. So this is how that pretty much looks, and then this is gonna be a pocket or something, I'm not sure yet. And then we have our card in the inside, so I just have to clean my hands and move on to the next part. This is so much fun. I just love this. This is so much fun. It's so freeing. You could just splash it all over the place. It's like being a kid again, playing with Play-Doh and making messes and finger painting. Alright, so I'm going to put this off to the side, back to my green paper. And depending on how this paper looks at the end of the day, then I use it probably for scraps. And I'll incorporate it into my mixed media. So I want them to be facing in opposite directions. And then I'm also going to paint this little piece here. And pretty much it's just a fairy. We have a little bunny rabbit. And then this is the mushroom and the mushroom top. And I have no idea if this is just like a little branch coming off of the side or something. But we'll figure that out as we go. And I'm going to put this to the side and put it right there. That should be fine while that dries up. And it dries up super quick, you guys. It doesn't take any time to dry up at all. And then I'm going to go in with my brush and start painting. So I'm going to add some colors here. And I'm definitely going to get some of this rich espresso, which is their version of brown in the Dazzling Metallics. So we have some branches there. I already have some green, so I don't need to add any more of that. So I'm going to add a little bit of that. We have our birds, some golden birds, right? Give them a little color so they can pop. I'm going to add quite an amount of that. And I can't wait for you guys to try some of these paints. I'm telling you, once you go down this road, you won't turn back. Because there's no such thing as making a mistake. Paint over it. There you go, you're good to go. And trust me, it'll still come out pretty. So we have that, we have that. I need something for the center. So we have our brown for our branches. Our birds is gonna be, I got the blue here. I still have the blue. Let me get some other colors. Maybe some berry. We'll make that bird like a golden berry color. Got some peacock color here. And I'll pull out a little red. So we'll see. We'll see how this all goes, you guys. Fingers crossed. I'm looking for my brushes. Here we are. I keep losing them. So pretty much the first thing that I do when I'm going to do such a small, like an intricate kind of die cut, I kind of like stencil it on. It's almost like how I paint them, like I kind of stencil it on. And then I'll go into the finer little details in a different color. But for the most part, I'll paint everything like the lightest tone that I have. And then I'll start building on that. So in this case, the mink color is going to be my lightest tone. So I'll just start kind of painting everything in that one color. So that I make sure that everything is kind of painted. And you know what? This brush is too thin for what I'm trying to do. So I'll just kind of go into it, because at the end of the day, once everything is said and done, and I'm gonna paint all these branches. I'm not gonna paint the bird or the bird nest. I'm gonna paint all these branches in this one color, and then I'll go into it and add different shades so that it looks like it's got shadows and just different things happening at the same time. Yes, there's nothing better than an imaginary bird. A bird that you design yourself and you style it out the way you want it. So that's pretty much how this is looking. And again, I'm painting leaves, branches, everything. If you want to be more intricate, you can. But this is how I always do it. I paint everything in the lightest shade that I have on my palette when it comes to the set, you know, whatever's designated, you know, for that part. I'll start with the lightest shade and I'll just start building the depths, you know. Okay, so I have this part pretty much done, so you guys already can see that most of those, pretty much I covered everything. So now I'll go in with the brown, and then I'll leave the little green tips for the leaves last, because it's the smallest part. And I'll go in with a liner brush and just kind of streak it on. And I don't even need a liner brush for that. I'll need a liner brush for my leaves. And then once this is done, for me to make them pop out just a little bit more in certain areas, then I'll go in with a brown marker and just do it that way and make them pop out. Because it's an alcohol marker, it will be permanent. And it just gives it the right amount of, you know, depth. Okay. So if you guys can see that the back is already darker than what the front is, because I added that espresso color on there. And I don't care if the back gets dirty, because the back is going to be glued on. Nobody really is going to see that. So, let's make them look like spring birds. Yes, I did. I was on the phone. To clean the dyes off, the small bits, I got a set of brushes at Dollar Tree in the auto section. 2 of them have wire hairs and 1 plastic. You got to be careful with that, because you don't want to start wearing off your edges that actually cut your paper with the wire brush. I've heard a couple people do that, but I'm scared because I don't want to damage the actual cutting part, the little edge of it. But I'm sure that it's, you know, it depends on how delicate you are with it. I'm sure that it'll, you know, work well. But yeah, I'm worried about that. I've heard of that, but I've just been, you know, like I don't want to damage and then have the edges come out frayed or have it not cut in certain sections because I wore off that little, you know, that little rim. So now I'm gonna go in and just touch gonna touch up on some of these little leaves and just adding the slightest little tidbit of the green. So hopefully you guys can see that. I have to definitely figure something out, especially since I feel like I'm going to be doing these lives every weekend. At least that's been the way that it's been happening so far. I got to try to do something with this camera and this lighting so that you guys get the most out of it. But I do hope that you guys are seeing me well. So that's pretty much about it for this part. And then I'm just going to start coloring the little birds out. But hopefully you guys can see that pretty well, you know, the greens and stuff in there. And let's get into these birds in this nest. I'm going to start with the birds, and again I'm going to start with the lightest color that I have here, which is the gold, and I'll work myself up from there. And I'm going to leave the nest for last. And I'm not going to add gold everywhere. I'm just going to add gold in random little places and then pick up other colors as I go. And let me add some of this berry color to my little palette here so that I can pick some of this little berry color up. And just kind of mix them in a little bit. Adding a little bit more here and there. Let's see. And this is dry already, you guys. I can already grab it and add more layers if I wanted to, make it darker, or pretty much, you know, do with it as I wish. Yes, that they're good for, the distressing of the paper. Adding a little bit of red, getting a little bolder now with the color scheme. I'm going to add a little bit of green in there. Adding more of that berry color. And these are imaginary birds, you guys, so they can be, they can look how you want them to look. There's necessarily no rhyme or reason to your styling. And then once I'm done with them, I'm going to add some of this Glamour Dust Paint to the birds themselves. I'm not going to worry so much about the nest, although I am going to paint some of the edges because I'm going to add some of the eyelash trim as a nest to put them on the card. So it'll give it a little bit more dimension. I don't know what you guys are talking about. It's one of my least favorite dyes, lol. Which one? Okay, I'm lost. You guys carry on, don't mind me. I have a little bit of this black, I haven't even used it yet. It's called Black Ice, and it's Glamour Dust Paint. I'm going to use a little bit of this just to see like what it looks like. And I'm going to add a little bit of this black into the bird itself. Just to see. Just for giggles. Just to see. Oh, okay. Oh, me like you. Oh, alright. Not too much, just a little, I just added a little just to kind of give it a little bit of dimension there. It actually comes off more like dimensional paint because I'm adding such a large amount for such a small section. And getting more of this gold, and now making this gold a little bit brighter on the belly of the bird. So I hope that you guys can kind of see what I'm doing here, because it is a very teeny bird. But oh, the towel, Eiffel Tower. Oh, thank you for filling me in. And again, the other bird, going a little heavier with the yellow because I want these birds to look different. I don't want them to look the same. And then again, I always go back into it once everything is dry and it's set with a marker, any marker color that I need, and I'll just, you know, add whatever I need to add as far as making them stand out more as birds. So if I gotta add like little lines to make feathers, then I'll do that then. But for the most part, this is kind of what I do. And I just kind of dab it on. I know that for the most part it's going to be a little thicker than I needed, but I'm okay with that. I'm going to grab some of this black. Get some of this gold. And let me see something. Just using this really fine tip to kind of swirl in some of these colors together, just to see what happens, but I didn't really like it too much. Well, it did come out pretty good. It did some marbling in some areas, nothing too major. Now these birds are going to take a little while to dry because I did go a little heavier on the paint, but I like how they came out. So far, so good. Hi Donna, thanks for joining. So I'm going to go again and just add some of this brown, some of this rich espresso, and I'm going to add it to all the edges of the nest area, so that when I add my eyelash trim to this part here, everything is kind of covered in and I'm not too worried about anything showing through. Not necessarily being too precise here. And adding a little bit of green here and there to make it look like little leaves are kind of popping up off of it. Alright, so that's one. And I'm going to leave her off to the side so she can dry. And then I'll get some lace trim and add that, and then we'll figure out the rest of it. When you're using paints like this, you guys, you are going to get that curling effect, but once you glue a piece of paper to the inside, it gets flat again, so you don't have to worry too much about it. So again, I'm going to start off with my lightest color, and I need some, what do I have left here? I might as well go in with that one. I'm just going to go straight in with the espresso because I already used up all my other paint, and there's no really no point in getting it since I don't have it on my palette there. So I'm just going to go in and just kind of paint over all the tree area. And since I've already decided on what I'm going to do with the nest, I'm going to go in and paint the nest as well, because I might as well do it now. Making sure I don't go all, on that bird, because I'm not going to put brown into the birds. And I'm painting everything, even the leaves, because when I add the green, that'll just make it a darker green, so it'll make it even pop out even more. Well, what I recommend that you do is use the foam. If you're having issues with cutting out the dyes, use a foam pad like the ones that they sell in the Dollar Tree or in one of those cheap stores, the dollar stores. Buy yourself a pack of the foams, the really thin ones, and use those under, and then put your dye, then put your paper, then put your plate on top. So there will be your, if you're using, let's say, a Cuttlebug, which is what I use. I use the base plate, you know, the A plate. I put the C plate. I put the foam sheet. I put the dye. I put the paper, and then I put the you know, the next plate over it, and I run it through the machine, and that usually works well. If it doesn't work well for you, then you need another foam sheet. So instead of putting one, then try putting two, and that usually should do the trick. When I use foam sheets, I can pretty much cut through anything and everything. Yeah, aren't they awesome? I'm telling you guys, I don't know what they're doing to us, but this eBay stuff, we're going to need a YouTube counselor to get us off this eBay shopping that we're doing. And I'm sorry, because I know I'm an enabler. I can't help it. When I find something that is a good price, I'm going to tell you guys. And it beats having to pay $5 and $6 and even more. Granted, you have to wait for them, but I can't help it but want to help you. Yeah, it works for me every time. It really does. It's a very good fix. We actually had somebody here trying it already, and she said it worked for her. She actually did it while we were live, so it works well. Don't get the super thick you know, the super thick foam. You want a thin one. Let me see where I have them. What did I do with it? I have some here, if I can find it to show you. Oh, where did I put it? I actually have some, but I don't know where I put them at. I would have loved to have shown you, but it's just the thin one. They usually sell them in packs of 10 at the Dollar Tree. And you can use that, and it'll work well for you. It should work well for you, because my plates are terrible. When I tell you, my plates are bad, you guys. Completely warped. These are my 2B plates. You guys see how bad those are? They're completely warped. They look like sleds that you can use. You can put one on each foot and go sliding. And then this is my C plate, which is not as warped, but it's definitely got some use on it. And I use foam sheets, and it cuts perfect. It cuts like if it was brand new. Give me a second, you guys. I can't see what you guys are writing. I had to reset, refresh my page for some reason. All right, so let's get to these birds while my page refreshes. And again, just adding some of this gold paint on here, making him really bold and popping out. And pretty much all the cards that you guys have seen on my channel have all been made in this process, very similar to this. Okay, I can't where are you guys' stuff at? I can't see what you guys are talking about. Hold on, I'm refreshing it again. Technology, you can't live with it, you can't live without it, I tell you. So I hope to be able to get through all of these cards that I cut out to show you guys, but at least you guys get the idea more or less of how to go about it. I'm gonna add some red on this one. And some of this black. I don't know why I'm liking this black. I'm really liking this shimmery kind of black color that is there. Okay, I can see you guys now. Things I understand. See from September. Wow. You should have reported it. Amazon's supposed to give you your money back. They need to give you your money back. Don't ever give up on those, because people lie, so at the end of the day, they don't know who's telling the truth and who's not telling the truth. But if you're persistent, they don't have a choice. So I'm just adding a little bit of this gold in the underbelly of the bird. Just giving him all kinds of different shades here. And I'm thinking, where's the blue? Here's the blue. I'm going to add a little bit of blue on this next one, because I might as well. Just a little dab. Just a little dab here and there. That blue is so bright. And I'm going to mix it in with this yellow. Probably make a little bit of green there. Hopefully not, but some of this red. And a little bit of this white. And I'm just dabbing the paint on. Kind of like when you want to, when you're frosting a cake and you want those little peaks. And you put the frosting and you hit it ever so slightly with a little knife. Pum, pum, pum. And you get all those little peaks. That's pretty much what I'm doing with the paint. Just trying to get some little peaks here and there, just to give it some texture. So when you run your finger through it, you get all those little, you know, those little bumps. Alright, so we got that. Now I'm going to paint the little leaves. Yes, the paints that I'm using are Decoart Dazzling Metallics. And on this bird, I've used Ice Blue. I've used Mink Pearl for the tree, the branches and stuff. I've used Splendid Gold. Crystal Green, which is this one right here, for the leaves that I'm using. Some White Pearl, which is I've been kind of blending it in with the other colors. I've also added a little bit of the Festive Red, and then just a little dab of this Black Ice, which is sprinkle, not sprinkle, I keep saying sprinkle, glitter paint. It's glitter paint. And that's more or less what I've been adding to add the different textures and stuff to the birds. Now I'm going to use again that Crystal Green to add just the slightest little bits to the leaves, just a little bit, because there's not that many leaves on here. This poor branch has all its leaves taken out because the birds needed to build a nest. So she's kind of naked besides having the birds on there. But just ever so slightly, just a little bit of green in the smallest little areas, just to make it look like it's an actual tree. And just a little bit right there. And then these are done. And then what I'm going to do is that I'm going to add, like I said, some eyelash trim to the insides of those, which I'm going to get out of my little box. And we're going to be placing those on the card itself. And then this one I want to add it on the inside, but I'm going to work on those first and just see how I feel about that one after it's said and done. Because maybe it'll end up somewhere else, I'm not sure. And I did color some stamped girls, but I haven't used them yet. Because I'm not really sure how I want to go about using them as yet. So I'm going to get my card out. And I'm going to get my little birds down because they dry up very quickly, except for the areas that I kind of, like I said, I was doing all the spiking with the paint. Those are going to be a little bit more on the wetter side. And what I am going to do for now is actually, to get this page flat, I'm going to get a piece of cardstock and I'm going to glue that into place. So just give me 1 second while I get that. So I'm just going to glue that into place. Push these out of the side. Glue that into place so that my paper's right back to being flattened down. Yes, I just got those. Those are like the latest addition to my collection. And I'm just going to add a little bit of glue. I'm not going too crazy with this. Just a little dab of glue will do you. And I'm just going to ever so slightly add this in here. I want to still be able to fold my card, but I need this card to be flat, so this is the way for me to get it to be flat. Because as you guys know, wet paper curls, so paint, wet, paper curling. But it's well worth it when you come out with something that you love. So that's it for that. I'm just going to cut this out. And now my card is flat and I don't have to worry about it looking like an ancient scroll. I'm going to leave that there for now while I do the rest of the gluing on the bottom part of it. Then I'll cut everything else out. And you know what? I actually have some of these already. Do I have them here? Nope. I must have them somewhere else. I must have them in another envelope. So again, I'm just gonna add this here and then just glue this down. We're almost there. Almost there. But see, it kind of flattened out your card, and once you put it in the envelope and everything else, and you kind of start stacking them one next to the other and top of the other, however you're going to put them away, it'll start to get flat naturally. So I'm going to go into gluing my birds. Gluing my birds in. So just adding just the slightest amount. I'm not trying to drench this whole thing out. Add just little dabs here and there, especially in the leaf areas. You definitely want to make sure you catch those leaves, because you don't want those being the first things that rip off of your card as you stick it in your envelope. Just making sure I got in all the little tidbits, all the little ends that I feel are going to be a problem. I definitely want to make sure that I catch those. So here we go. Time for magic. Just wiping away some of that excess glue. This glue dries clear, so this is why I use this glue, because it still wouldn't be a problem since it dries clear. And we have our first bird in. And I think I painted this wrong, you guys. I painted it wrong. Yep, I sure did. I painted it wrong. I was supposed to paint it this way. But instead I painted it this way. I'm not gonna do that. That doesn't look right. So what am I gonna do, guys? I'm having a dilemma here. I don't want it to go to waste. So what do? I'll paint another one because I do have more. I'm gonna have to paint another one, you guys, because I must have flipped it without realizing and then presumed to paint. Ding dong. It's this way. So let me just paint that, you guys, real quick, because I might as well. Otherwise I will be unsatisfied, and we don't want that. We definitely don't want that. And I still have all the paint here, so I'm just gonna do that real quick and get all that paint in there. Does that happen to you guys? Or you'll paint the wrong side, or you'll color the wrong side of the image you're trying to get? I don't want to do that either, Donna, because it's got all this different. Yeah, you know what? I could just do that, but it's still got wet paint. It's gonna get stuck. It's gonna get stuck. The minute I put that paint on and I flip it over and I start painting, it's gonna dry onto the paper, and when I go take it off, I'm gonna have a problem. This is why I paint, but I move. I paint and I move, because at the same time, it's almost like I'm stenciling here. So I'm just gonna do this rather quickly and get this on. And luckily I still have most of the paints that I used, most of the colors. I still have them here. So let's see. Okay. Alright, so now let's get this bird painted. Let's get this bird painted. I'm just flipping the paper over so that that wet paint doesn't end up becoming a glue and it gets my whole thing stuck. Oh yeah, no, that's gonna it's either gonna get put in the little pocket as a gift, probably with some additional goodies or something of that nature. Like that, it won't go to waste. I won't throw it out, because I still love how it came out. It's just, unfortunately, I painted the wrong side. Because I was too busy paying attention to other things. Okay, so we got that. Let me just rinse this off a little bit. And I do have the stencil paper for that, so I will also probably be adding some other additional branches, just not the birds, just a little bit of the little branch tips kind of popping out of the sides on the bird itself, on the paper itself. So hopefully it wasn't a total flop. It'll still come out pretty good. And already I'm starting with something completely different. I've added some of this glitter paint all over the birds, and I'm gonna work off of that, so I have that little nice shimmery base. I like trying new things, being a little bold here and there. You'll have another birthday later, you all. I can't tell you how many times I've done that. Thank you. I'm glad I'm not the only one. See, it's trying to stick. Don't stick, because I don't have any other ones cut out. This is my last little bird, my last little ray of sunshine. Adding just a little dab of blue. A little bit of this berry color. Come on. Get on there. Get on there. A little bit of this gold. Alright. We're almost there, you guys. Almost there. I can't wait. Almost there. So let's see. Let's add some red into this one. Make him nice and bold, because he is livid that he painted the wrong one. Even though it was really a she that painted the wrong one, but it doesn't matter. The point is, he's like, get some paint on me, woman. I need to fly. I can't fly without my colors. Nobody will see me if I don't have my colors. Okay, so I think these birds actually came out better than the first ones. So that worked out. So now to add my greens. And I wish that I could plug my drying tool here, but I can't, because then we'll all be in the dark and you guys will be looking at a black screen, because I will lose all power. Because that's just how it is in some places of the world. You can't have one thing if you have the other. So let's see. There's some really curling action going on over here, but it came out really nice anyway, so I'm happy. I'm back to my happy place, you guys. Back to my happy place. Yep, yep. So we're almost there. It's almost tea time. I'm just adding them wherever I think I see a leaf. And just adding on the little tidbits here and there. Adding different, just little different things that kind of pop out or are going to pop out when I put the eyelash trim. All these little bits and pieces are going to pop out from the sides. So the bird is painted. Tragedy averted. That was pretty quick. So I'm gonna glue it on, but I probably won't be able to press on it because I don't know if it'll survive that. So we're gonna cross our fingers, you guys. There's no coming back from here. And oops, I done glued his eye shut. Lord help me. My nerves are rattling, you guys. I hope this works. I hope it works. Let's see. Did I overkill it with the glue? Hopefully not, but I just want to make sure she sticks well. So there's no return from here. Alright. Okay. Okay, you guys, I'm going to put the paper on it. Please, cross your fingers. Cross your fingers, cross your toes, cross your feet. Cross it, cross it, cross it. I'm going against my better judgment, just so you know. But God is good. Yay! Success. But look, I did get paint on the paper. But I knew he wasn't going to let me down. Just going to use the little brush tip and just get some of this excess glue. Not that I'm too worried about it because, again, it does dry clear. But I don't want mountains of clear glue, even though it dries clear. So we got it. We got it. So look how that looks, you guys. And then now I'm going to add, I'm going to go ahead and add some eyelash trim here, and I'm going to glue it into place. And now we're going to have a dimensional card. And I'm going to cut off these little tidbits because I don't need them. I do need a little bit of glue here because I guess I missed a spot. Or she's being stubborn. So here I am again with the piece of paper. Come on, stick down. Being stubborn. Being very stubborn. Let me get some eyelash trim and get this going. And where did I put them? Okay. I think your pushes have already. Oh, I got it here. Did you guys see my paper purse? Oh my god. I'm only showing it to you because I had to bring it down. I have more of those to make. I gotta get my little my little Tupperware, my little eyelash trim Tupperwares. Well, thank you so much, Laura, for watching us all the way from Switzerland. It was our pleasure to have you be a part of this process today. Thank you so much. And I'm going to use some of this eyelash trim. It's like a copper, but I'm thinking I'm going to mix it with a little bit of this white or this cream color. So I'm just going to chop off a few little strands here so that I can kind of make a little Mod Podge. Let me see if I have a darker color, because it probably will look really nice with a little blend of different colors. Oh yeah, I got some dark brown. So that'll definitely give it a little extra kick. Okay, so let me just cut off a piece of this. And that should do it. Now the smartest thing to do would be to use some hot glue when you're going to do this, because this is obviously going to take a little while to set. I'm going to cut this into two because I need two. And I'm going to cut this to two. And I'm just making two little piles here. Two little piles. So I have my brown and my light color. So I'm thinking just a little Mod Podge, kind of like a knot is more or less what I'm kind of going for. But I don't want to overwhelm the birds so much that you can't see them, so I got to tighten this up a little bit. Thank you. I'm planning on doing a live on making those paper purses. So what I'm doing is like a knot, so I'm kind of rolling it in my fingers, you guys can see. And then I'm feeding it through the center and just kind of pulling it, and then again feeding it through the center, so that I have like, you know, like a little twirled up kind of thing. And it is the struggle, you guys. The struggle is real. So that's kind of how I want to do this. And I'm just kind of twirling them, kind of twirling it around to give it like that neat look, if you will. But at the same time, I think that'll work. I'm just dropping blobs of glue into this thing, you guys. And like I said, the smartest thing to do would have been to use hot glue. So if this doesn't stick from here to then, which it doesn't look like it's going to, I'm going to actually have to connect my hot glue gun and get that heated. But in the meanwhile, we'll get moving on to the next card, and then I'll just come back and show you guys. So let me connect that right now and get that warming up, because I think that's probably going to be the best way to get that set and straight and permanent. So I got my glue gun going, because I don't think this is going to set with this glue in a timely fashion where I can actually show you guys what's what. So I'm just going to let this be for now. Made a mess of my desk. I'm going to trim off these edges, and I put my heat gun to my glue gun, I put it to heat up, so I'm going to let that happen. I'm going to put these little bundles of joy to the side. While we work on the next card, that'll heat up, and then I'll just come back and add the little nests to them, so that you guys get to see the full spectrum of everything. And we're going to move on to the next card. And the next one is going to be roses, because I know you guys want to see how I paint, how I actually do the hollow areas. And I don't want to keep you guys here forever in a day, because I know you got things to do. So let's see. So the last two that I have. Yep, it looks like it. And again, this little area here is going to be turned into a pocket, so this is actually going to be glued to the back here. My sentiment is going to go on the top, and then a goodie bag is going to come in here, or a little envelope with some, you know, die cuts or something, or maybe even some die cuts of what I use. Will probably be what I stick in there, and then that will be the card, and then I will just, you know, package it up. But I'm going to put this to the side, and I'm going to work on this one. And I have some roses. Then I'm going to show you guys how I paint. So that you guys can more or less see, like, ow, I got burned already, that thing got hot. So I can show you guys more or less how I go about. No more birds, I'm birded out, you guys. I'm so done with the birds. I'm so done with the birds. I can't deal with the birds right now. Let's get the roses. Let's get the roses. Let's see where you guys are. Right here. And I hope I did a lot of them. I hope I cut out enough. These are really fun. I love painting these, especially the hollowed areas, because you get two shades, so it just makes the whole flower kind of come to life. I just have to kind of separate these because I do cut them, and I cut them out while the paper's folded in two, so they do stick to each other. But I cut these out with foam. It just so happened that once I was done, since I did so many die cuts, I threw that piece of foam out because it was already warped out, because I cut so many things out using it. But this is cardstock. This is Recollection cardstock folded into two. Okay, the 8.5 by 11 folded into two, using the eBay dies, and ran through a cuddle bug with a piece of foam as a shimmy. And it does a good job. Oh, don't you worry. I'm going to put that on my to-do. I definitely, I know that this month is probably going to be like, it's been one of those months where everything has been like overwhelming. I've been involved in so many different things. And definitely always wanting to come with something new to the table, especially for doing the live shows. I don't want to come and show you guys always the same thing over and over and over again. To me, is like the point of it all is to be able to, you know, for somebody to be able to take something from this. And if you guys see me do the same thing over and over and over again, it just becomes mundane. But for the most part, I'm trying to bring new things to the table every month. So I've been just busy trying to get my hands on all different kinds of little things here and there. Ordering all kinds of different stuff so that I can hopefully bring you guys some new content that you guys will enjoy. So this card, I'm going to do it a little different because I'm going to make it look like an embossed folder. If that makes any sense. I'm going to make it look like what the embossing folder does. I'm going to put all of these flowers. Like, let me see if my idea comes out through. Because, you know, in your mind, forget it. Superman is real and he flies. But when it comes to you finding the man that looks just like Superman, he never flies. He never flies. Nor can he outrun a train. So I'm thinking. Obviously, I can't use all of these flowers. This is just way too many. So I'm trying to figure out what design do I want to use for this. Let's see what my mind comes up with. I might have to trim some of those leaves off, but I'm thinking something along the lines like this. Something along the lines like that. What do you guys think? You know what, I'm going to get a paper that is not cut because I don't think that will look good with that kind of design on the card. So I'm going to get a fresh piece of paper and score it. I'm thinking something like a cascade of flowers, but it's going to be, instead of coming from the top, it's going to come from the bottom up. So that's more or less where my mind is gearing. Let me just get my little scoring thing over here. And I really have to get myself a 12 by 12 one because I'm doing half the job constantly with this 6-inch one. And then I have to do math. And I don't like math. I didn't like it in high school. I don't like it as an adult. I don't like to have to count. I want things to be easy. And they're never easy. Because where's my scoring tool? See you guys. I have so much paint here now that I can't find my utensils. Let's see here. For the love of God, help me please. Help me find it. Where'd you go? Is that you that I see there? Yes it is. Thank you, Lord. Can always count on you. Isn't that just awesome when you like put it out into the world and you just say, I just need this right now, when out of nowhere just bang, there it is. It's almost like having a genie without having a genie. So I'm just scoring this at 5.5 so that I can pretty much get the card at half exactly, because this is going to be a pretty long design and I'm going to make it come up from the corner up and out. And then I'll show you guys how I go about using the paints and the markers. This is where I use the paint, the markers, and the glitter. I use all three of those to combine the effects. So let's put this out of the way because we won't be using this card today. That card will probably be for something else, and I'll probably make a video showing you guys what I ended up doing with whatever I don't use today, because I did cut out a whole bunch of different things. And I most likely won't be getting to the little cutesy wootsy girls today. But I'll make a video showing you guys what I do or how I do it, or we'll figure it out. No worries there. It's just been a super exciting month for me. And I want this card. I need this card to be, I'm going to use some waxes on my background, because I need this card to have a different effect so that my flowers pop out, if that makes any sense. So I need subtle variation of shades so that my things pop out a little bit. So I have here, let me see, I'm gonna use, no, I'm not gonna use this pink. I'm thinking about silver and gold, and the roses are red. How about that? Silver and gold and my roses are red. And these colors are a little bit on the drier side. Yep. So I'm just going to add water straight to them. I'm going to use them like watercolor. That's what I'm going to do with them. So let me get myself a little cap of water. And this is what I love about these waxes. And for those of you that are interested in what they are, they're Decoart Metallic Lustre. And I'm using Gold Rush and Shimmering, and Silver Spark. And I'm using a little bit of water on each of them. And with a brush, I'm just going to move it around, let it kind of water itself down a little bit so that I can kind of use it. And I'm actually going to get a bigger brush than this so that I can apply it to a wider area while that kind of marinates in there. And this is a size 20. And I think it's a flat. I have no idea. I only know the names of brushes when it's on the brush. So you guys can see, I'm just watering this down. So I'm just kind of mixing this together. I want it to be ever so slightly. I do not want it to be overwhelmed. Chances are I'm going to have to add another piece of paper to the back of this card, like I did previously, to keep the curling from happening. But that's perfectly fine. I don't have a problem with doing that. It adds weight to the card and it adds dimension. So. I'm gonna rinse this off and go do the same thing to the gold. So you guys see how that kind of turns into very easily. It just easily turns into this liquid, just liquid gold. Beautiful. And when it dries up, it dries right back into its natural form of being a wax. I love this thing. You never run out of it because it always goes right back to its natural form. So pretty much gonna cover a little bit of the edges over here. And I'm being messy already. And again, very just kind of loose. Because what I'm looking for is just mainly to just have the background kind of covered. And give it that metallic look at the same time. And the roses are going to be painted in metallic red, which is festive red. And then I'm going to be using my red markers and glitter paints to bring out the different dimensions and create shadow. In the card. And I'm going to let this dry. Then what I'll do is I'll rub some of it on, the wax itself. I'll rub some of the colors in just to kind of make it pop out a little bit more. And then I'll start arranging my card. But right now it's looking pretty gold right now. Not so much of the silver. So what I'll do is that I'll add some of the silver highlights to it. I'm just making this corner here darker, because this is where they're going to be coming from. So I'm just adding a little bit more of the darkness here. Let me see. Yeah, I'm going to let this dry off a little bit before I start damaging this paper. And then I'll start working on the flowers. And I'll cover these up. Put that brush back there. And the only color that I need for this is red and the crystal green. Those are the only two colors that I'm going to need for these roses. For the stem. And then easy peasy. I could actually probably do a couple of these at the same time. And then we'll get it going that way. I don't even know what the magic number is going to be right now, but I'm going to start off with the green since it's what I have the most area of to cover. And then I'll do the little areas with the red. And for this I'm using a size 10. Again with the flat end, with the square tip. I gotta learn my names so that I don't keep butchering what they are. And I'm just laying it in there. I'm not worried about the background paper because that's what that paper is there for, to, you know, catch those little ends, those little mess up parts. Only thing I want to do is make sure that I cover the flower properly. That's my only concern here. And then once this is dry, I'll take a little bit of yellow and just add a little bit of yellow to the leaves themselves, just to give them a little bit of dimension. I'm still trying to figure out a way that I can come on here and not take up so much of you guys' time. Hopefully I'm not driving you guys nuts. But it seems like everything that I do takes a long time. At least a couple hours. Easy. This is why I appreciate you guys actually staying here for the duration. For watching me through all this madness. Okay. So pretty simple, pretty quick. And is the word opaque, which means not see-through. Since the paint is opaque, then you don't have to go crazy adding a whole bunch of layers. One layer should do it, unless you water it down. If you apply it straight as it is, you don't have to add a whole bunch of different layers to it. That's that one. I'm going to try to do as many of these as I can with the green, and then just go through the red ones. Hi, Mama Cat. I didn't even see you were there. So for the most part, I'm going to try to bang out as many of these as I can, and then I'll just figure out how I'm going to layer them. I might have to cut off some of the petals, I mean not the petals, the leaves, to make sure that the design fits, you know, well, but that's a small sacrifice. I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to do it. All right. So we got that one. It dries off quick, so that's a good thing. As long as you just apply the one layer, you are good to go. You are good to go. Today was supposed to actually be planner day, but I just got planner stuff yesterday, so I'm still not organized in that department. So I'm thinking maybe next week it'll probably be a planner weekend. Well, I'll do some planner stuff and hopefully give away some planner goodies too. Look at that background pattern. Oh man. I'm stenciling over here. Phone going crazy, you guys. So I think that this is gonna be probably the last card that I'm gonna make with you guys for tonight. And then whatever other stuff I have left to do as far as cards and stuff, then I'll probably just make a video, a regular video, and just kind of show you guys what I ended up either doing with it, or you know, different tutorial on something, you know, different relating to the cards and the dies and stuff that I didn't cover today. So hopefully you guys had as much fun with me today as I had with you guys. And I think that's about it, right? That should be enough roses. I'm painting them all. I think that should be enough roses there. I think this is going to be the last one. And then I'm going to start working on the rose tops. The actual rose bud. Oh, I'm not. I'm not. Trust me. I am not going to do that. And my heat gun is hot. My glue is melting and seething out of it. So I think that my little bushes are ready to be bushed. My little, what you call it? Nest. Bless you, babe. My little nest is ready. So let me put this to the side for 2 seconds. Let me get that card back and get these little bundles ready to go. Where did I put that card? Oh, it's right here. So we have our card. Let me put this to the side. For 2 seconds, we got our 2 little bundles here. So let's get these on so that I can show you guys what this card looks like. And I'm just going to try to neaten it up just a smidge. So I'm just adding glue to the bottom of it. And trying to fold some of these little trims onto themselves. Because I want them to have that texture, but I don't want them to overwhelm the actual birds themselves. So I don't want it to be so big that you can't see the birds. So I'm just kind of pushing it onto itself and folding those little edges over so it's a little flatter. And I'm gonna trim off, not too crazy, but just trim off a little bit of that excess and put those like right there. Oop. Now it's stuck to my finger. Okay. And here goes our first little nest. And if I find two little pearls or something that could fit in there, I probably would add like two little flat backs or two little oval shaped pearls. And do it that way. So again, I'm just going to twirl these around and try to, I'm going to twirl some of this around and try to make like a little cylinder with it. By twirling them onto the fingers and just kind of wrapping them around that way. And start adding some of this glue in here. This glue is hot today. It's hot today, this glue. I'm going to make this one probably a little bit more smaller in size. So I'm just kind of wrapping them around and just adding little bits of glue here and there just to get those little fine hairs to stick to the back. So there we go. Let me just trim a little bit of this excess crazy hair off. And get this in there this way. And voila. We have two birds, two nests. Does that look like a nest or what? We good to go. I love it. I love how it came out. It looks super dimensional, super cute. And I just need two little eggs to put on the top of there. At least one little egg on each one. Because they're there for a reason, right? So, yeah. So this one's done, you guys. Let me shut this off. Because I'm not about to start burning myself all over again. And back to what we came for. Le rose. Le roses. Does adding the word la in front of a French word automatically make it, well, in front of an English word automatically make it French? Does anybody know? Just like people want to add the O at the end of a word in English and think that it's Spanish, even though it's not. Thank you. Now we're going to do the roses. Yes, it came out really cool. I didn't think it was going to come out this nice, but I'm really happy with it. And the three colors, it really does a lot for it, mixing up the fibers. So that came out really nice. Pleasantly surprised. So I'm going to add some red, and this is Festive Red. And I need to guys, if you see what my desk look like right now. Thank you, Donna. My nest is so messy. My desk looks like a nest. It's so messy right now. I'm just trying to get some of this glue off of my fingers because I got glue everywhere, you guys. They wanted me to be one with the card. For real, for real. Alright, so... Te estoy esperando ya. Okay. No, ya casi. These are dry already, so I'm just gonna move them over and start painting the actual the parts that need to be red on here. And it's crazy because most of the paint goes on to the the paper in the bottom, but I'm not too worried about that, because later on I'll go in with a red marker and just add little highlights here and there and just bring that red out all the way through. And what I like about using the markers is that you don't lose the metallic effect of the paint just by going over with a marker, at least with the ones I have. I don't know about other ones, but I don't lose the metallic just by going over with a marker. It'll just become more vibrant and shinier, so it's no loss. It's no loss at all. Yeah, so I'm gonna keep it going and just try to bang out as much of these as I can. And I'm loving the little the stenciling effect that it's doing on the background. Like, oh man, it's looking so pretty. This paper is looking so nice. This is going in my art journal. It's trying to stick. Don't stick. Okay. Okay. Once I go into that with the paint, with the marker and the glitter, everything will come to life. Everything will pop out. Hold on. This paper, pretty and all, but it's getting sticky, so my roses are trying to stick. They're trying to stick. I can't have them sticking. And it's crazy because, you know what, if I would have known that I was going to pay shipping for this dye, I probably would have never made it. I would have never bought it. I probably would have never bought it, and now I'm so happy that I did and that I didn't notice, because it's so pretty. And I have a few of their flower dyes, but I thought this would be the easiest one to show you guys, like how I do it. Because the other ones are just a little bit more intricate. They have more sections to have to cover, and since I knew I was gonna do a couple different cards, I didn't want to hold you guys up longer than I had to on any one situation. And really what I should get used to doing is doing most of these off camera and then doing one or two of them on camera and then just being ready. That's how they do it on TV. You think any of those meals and the infomercials, they cook it there? They don't cook it there. It's called sleight of the hand. One minute you see it, one minute you don't. When they pan out, there's a little midget behind there switching out all the plates. And I don't mean to say it like that, but you know what I mean. A little person. Somebody that fits under that counter. Switching out all the plates. Hopefully I didn't offend anybody. I'm short too, just in case. But I need to start being prepared like that. Thanks for staying, Debbie. Thanks for watching. Sing the song, Myra. Sing the song. Roses are red, violets are blue. Alright, so we're almost there. I think I got one more to paint. And then I'll be moving on to gluing these in some kind of a uniform way that makes some kind of sense. And yeah, I think I got them. I think I got them. Alright, so we got that. Got my brush and some water. My card dried up for the most part. I'm just going to add a little bit more of this wax in certain places. Well, you know what? I'm going to add the wax after. I'm going to glue these roses in. But before I glue them in, I need to add some paper. I'm going to add some paper to make that card sturdy. And this is why you don't leave your fine tip glue bottles out without a cap on, because then the glue dries up on you. And then next week I'll do a Let's Plan Together live stream. And I'll try to do at least 1 or 2 spreads on there, and utilize some of the stamps that I got from Peachy Planner. Peachy Planner Deal, I think it's what it's called. I'll try to use some of those stamps and see, and I'll see what else I got in my little winnings that I can utilize. So that straightened that card out in 2 seconds. Now we're good to go. So I'm thinking of putting these off somewhere like here, but I need some of this metallic wax on this corner here before I even add that in there. Okay, now I feel a little bit better. We'll see what else we had in here. I just needed to do that or I wasn't going to be okay with myself. So let's see now. Now to start arranging some of these flowers. And definitely I'm going to start off with at least 3 in the bottom. So that'll give me a nice base to start building upward. So let me see. Okay. Let me, if I don't stick that first one down, I'll spend 3 hours trying to organize it. So I'm gonna stick that first one down, and the rest is destiny. And I don't want to put glue all over the flower because I'm going to be tucking little pieces of the other flowers here and there. I'm going to be tucking them in behind the leaves. Like I told you guys, I'm going to have to sacrifice some leaves here and there, but I'll use them up. I'll just have to, position them somewhere different so that the whole layout kind of makes sense. Water. Everything here is easily removed with water. You don't even have to scrub too hard. I'm leaving some of the leaves a little loose because I don't know what I'm going to be tucking in certain places. So I'm leaving some of the leaves that are not glued down all the way. Like this one, I didn't glue it down all the way just in case I want to add something there, or however I end up feeling. See, for this one, I'm going to cut up these 3. But I got to do this in a very delicate way, because this one connects to the actual rose itself. So I gotta do it in a way that I don't damage the rose itself. And then I'll reattach it, but I'll reattach it in a different way. So just little dabs of glue here and there, letting that glue spread as I press it down. And the rest is just imagination, you guys. Letting that creativity just flow. Thank you. Wipe away that glue very easily. This is where it starts to get a little tricky, you guys. So let's see. Let's cut off this little leaflet over here again. And let's tuck that one somewhere like there. Sorry about the phone, you guys. I don't know if it sounds like, you know, the most enormous bells going off on your end. And then, let's see how I can reattach this. Reattach it like so. Cut this little piece off here, this little nugget over there. Take that off and just add that way. Which way do I want it? I want it this way. So I just repositioned that one and put it in a different spot altogether, and continuing on my cascading of the roses. Now this rose here, I'm going to clean off this glue because I don't want this one to be stuck. I want that one to have dimension so I can lift it up and paint the rose in the bottom, and at the same time have it, you know, lift up from the page itself, so that it just gives the flowers, you know, like they're coming off of the page kind of a vibe. And we're getting to the top, you guys. We're almost there. Don't beat yourself up too much about it, because you know what, at the end of the day, would you rather pay $1.99, $2, $3 tops for a die, or buy it for $10.99, $12.99, $19.99? Just think of it like this: you're doing yourself a favor. You'll thank yourself later. Alright, so here we go. Making sure that this one goes in nicely. I want to be able to tuck it in. I'm going to cut this little piece off here. And just, again, bring it down. This one I'm going to clean off because I don't want that one sticking down, but I do want the rest of them sticking down just so that I have leaves here and there popping up off of the page. It just gives it that dimension. It makes the card look way more 3D. And my last 2 roses, yep, last 2 roses and some stems here that I'm going to fill up different little areas here. Like I'll probably add this one somewhere down here, or just somewhere down here in the corner, just to fill up some of that area that's kind of open and vacant. Well, let's see. So it's almost going to look like hidden little roses in some areas. There we go. Yeah, because that just looks a little empty to me, that spot there. So just adding a little sliver down the line. Hopefully you guys can see well, because I can't look up at my screen and glue this at the same time. Thank you, Mayra. And since I didn't glue them all the way down, it's very easy for me to just lift it up. Precision. I'm lifting this leaf up because I don't want it to glue down. So I do want some of those to lift up, because that'll just let me color where I need to color, number 1, and it'll give the card that life, that little extra needed bonus. I'm just gonna glue this little bottom piece here, and I'm gonna let this one kind of pop up right from behind there. And I'll probably do that with this one in other places. But let me glue this last one down. And this one's going to come up like that. So that'll do it. Then we're just going to paint the centers. And once we paint the centers, you guys, we are good to go. Then we'll be good to go. And I'm off frame, you guys. Okay, this is the last Mohican right here. The last Mohican, no going back now. Now that's what I call a bouquet of roses. And that's probably what this card would be called if I was to have to give it a name for any reason. So I like that. What do you guys think? I like this a lot. Glue that there. Yes, it does, doesn't it? Like, wouldn't you just love your husband to sit in a room and just take his time and make a whole bunch of die cuts and paint them and put them on a card and give them to you and say, here, honey, I made it with love? He would probably just melt your heart away right then and there. Any wrong things have been forgiven. Alright, so let's see. Okay. So, she is pretty much done. And I'm going to put her inside of a book to flatten her out. And then I'm just going to color these in, you guys. And we are about done. Oh, hey, Tina. Thank you. This is our last card of the night already. We've made a few of them. So let me see. I'm getting my red. And the reddest one that I have, I'm going to be using some Glamour paint, ice crystal paint. After I'm done with it, I'm discarding this little piece of a leaf because I don't need it. And pretty much what I do is very simple. I color it in with a marker. And then I paint over it. And that's how I get the different colors. And this is why I didn't want some of these to stick, because it allows me now to get into all the different elements of this flower. And hopefully I don't make you guys dizzy by moving the card around. And I probably should have done this first before I glued the other cardstock to it, but oh well. Que sera, sera. I just thought about this now, like, darn it, this marker bleeds. Oh boy. It's been that kind of night tonight, you guys, right? Had a few little blunders today. Few little bloopers. But it's been a fun night. Yeah, I don't think most of ours are like that. They're not the cut and paste type. That's fine too. So yeah, this is pretty much what I do. I just color it in with a marker. It's a permanent marker. Now the card starts to come to life. Hopefully you guys can see that. The outside looks like the shading, and then the inside looks like the true color. So it just makes the card look, the roses, you know, or the flowers themselves look like they're supposed to. And I pretty much do this every time that I have these kinds of dies, where I have to use, where I have to paint the you know, the outside die one way, and then I'll paint the little areas that are open with a marker, trying to keep it within the same color family so everything matches. But to be honest with you, I have no clue about color families, so I won't lie and try to sound all professional. I should actually try to get myself one of those color wheels. I wanted to print one, but I don't trust the color is going to be the actual color. So I'm like, why bother? I'm just going to end up wasting a whole bunch of ink, and then I won't even trust the list. I'll be looking at it with a fishy eye like, are you sure I'm supposed to be using this color on this thing right now? I don't know. My fingertips are full of glue, you guys. So that's it. There's no shading required, because you did all the shading by painting the silhouette, you know, the die itself one way, and then by adding the true color, you know, on the inside, you create a natural shade. It creates a natural looking shade. And then here you could add a little bow or something. And that's that. Then I'm going to crystallize it by painting over it with some of this glitter paint and blending the whole thing together. That'll make this marker spread a little bit. It'll paint a little bit over. It'll, you know, bleed over a little bit to the actual rosebuds, you know, the little stenciled out area. So that helps me out either way. So either way, it still comes out nice. Thank you. Thank you so much. The only thing that you know, I wish I could have been able to do is actually do a giveaway today, but unfortunately, I won't be able to do that on this one. because some of these are actually gonna go through the Happy Mail to surprise, you know, somebody that I'm gonna be surprising this month through Happy Mail exchange. So some of these cards are gonna be included in that. So you guys will find out who the lucky person is, I guess, when she shows the cards, when she receives them, along with, you know, all the other goodies that I'm gonna be sending her. She has no idea who it is because I have no idea who it is. I'm gonna kind of put them all in a bag and then just figure it out that way and just pull out a random name. So I'm using a small brush, and then this is just the ice crystal. This is the glitter paint that has let me add some of this paint to this cap right here so I don't have to go digging for it. Then I'm just gonna add this right here to the inside. And this is unnecessary step, you guys. This is just what I'm doing. You don't have to do this. But since everything else has paint, I just feel like this should have some kind of paint too. So this is just what I'm doing. And again, the material, whatever this is made with, the product that this is made with, does pick up on this alcohol marker. So it is bleeding a little bit, which is fine because it just allows the color to actually, you know, move easier and spread itself out in a unique kind of way, making every rose look a little different. So I'm good with that. And it does this no matter what I use, so I've just learned to live with it. But again, I don't mind it, like I said, because it does spread the paint, and sometimes I need that. It actually makes it look a little bit better once it's done. Plus, I like it because it gives it that glitter. It gives it that extra effect. Right? Oh my God, it's been one of those for sure. For sure. Hopefully next week, like I said, I'm going to be doing some planning stuff. And I won't take up all this time, because this is crazy. I just wanted to finish it because I started it, so I'm like, okay, I got to finish it because you guys have been asking for this. Like literally, I've been getting so many messages on my inbox from older videos that I did. And they're actually asking me, like, when are you going to make this video? So I decided today to do it since I got these new dyes and I wanted to try them out. So I was like, you know what? I think today's the day. So hopefully they caught it, and if not, hopefully they'll catch it once it's good to go. But I made a promise to do it, and I have came through on that promise. Y'all my witness. And this is pretty much, I'm not covering the whole stencil, you guys. All I'm doing is just the little areas in the inside, the little cutout parts. Is the only thing I'm applying the paint to. That's the only part I need the dimensional effect at. And the only part I want to glitter. Because the rest of it is already in metallic, so I don't need it to have glitter too. This just adds a whole different level of, you know, dimension to the little roses. Just gives it that uniqueness. It makes every rose look different from every other rose, as you can probably already see just by the colors and how they're drying. Every rose is already looking different. The colors are more vibrant now. They got a hint of like a yellowish tint to them, which kind of makes them look a little bit more realistic in a way. So it's all working out. And this is the last one. And we did it, you guys. We survived it. Woohoo! Give yourself a round of applause. You've been here with me for over 3 hours. This has to be like the longest live stream I've done so far. So I'm just leaving those kind of lifted up because I don't want them to get stuck. But hopefully I can kind of show you guys. And this camera will pick up. You can see all the little glitter on it, and at the same time the metallics of that card, and it just looks so pretty. And down here what I'll do is I'm gonna add like a lace bow or something, and I'm just gonna have it kind of come off of the corner there, like a nice little corner piece. Give it a little bit of an extra, you know, uniqueness, because that's the name of the game, right? Let it be unique. I'll definitely gonna probably add some shading to this card, maybe in some vintage photo, or one of those distressings from Tim Holtz, just to make the card itself kind of pop out and spread it out a little bit more. But I love the way that it came out. I love the way that it looks. It looks very bright, vibrant. And the arrangement of the flowers, just how everything comes out, and I could just see it with the word love right there, or amor. Oh man, I need some letters. I gotta get me one of those dies that has the alphabet, so that I don't have to wait on nobody's words anymore. I could just cut my own out. But I know that eBay has it, so I definitely gotta get me one of those. But this is what we made. These three, right? We made 3. We got through 3 cards. I mean, an hour a card, give or take. So we got through these 3 cards, and I'm gonna add some details to these birds, definitely, with some marker. I really love how the little nests came out with the eyelash trim, 3 different colors. And we have the ballerina. Trying to see if this thing will focus properly, which is also gonna have some more details added to her. You can see the shimmer off of all the little flowers. So I think we did good. How many times? Oh, how time flies when you're having fun. I know, right? I'm so happy that you guys can actually say that you have fun with me. Like, that in itself is amazing. That in itself is amazing. Because trust me, I try to sometimes sit through people, their whole live stream, and it just becomes so hard after a while. I don't know how you guys put up with me, but I appreciate you guys for doing it. But yeah, definitely this is what we did. And I want to thank you guys all so much for being a part of tonight's live stream. And yeah, I'll definitely catch you guys down next Saturday, and we're going to be doing some planner stuff. I have to figure out what. I have no idea, but that's just me on the regular. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys haven't checked out my giveaway, please hop on over there. It's the Love is Love 1K challenge, and check that out. The winnings are going to be stamps, dies, and embossing folders, and also some of the same metallic paints that you see me use here today. So the prizes are going to be awesome. I hope you guys can participate. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Have an awesome night. Bye for now.